Okay, as I said before, I just wanted to make a brief commentary of the Spider-Man Clone Saga. This is a hardcover compilation of Spider-Man, the real Clone Saga. This is a retelling of the story, a very complex and convoluted story that almost killed or destroys, I'm sorry, Spider-Man back in the 90s. Here we have a cool picture of Mary Jane, the Scarlet Spider, and Peter there. Very cool picture, though it never happens, and it won't. As I said before in the previous video regarding the Clone Saga epic commentary, nobody stays dead in comics. They kill you and they just bring you back. You can ask Superman about that, and all the other comic characters that have died throughout comic book history. This is actually a compilation of 6 books released in 2009. This actually takes the best parts of the Clone Saga. Those of you who can read the Clone Saga or who are lucky enough to get one of these, well, lucky enough, no, because it's just being released and you can find it anywhere. Amazon, you can find it. You will see that this is actually a surmise of the storyline, taking the best parts and giving it a twist, a very cohesive and coherent twist, because back then the Clone Saga got a little bit, well, not a little bit, got out of hands, but nevertheless that's all past now, and I consider to be one of the most I want to say one of the greatest, but due to its controversial let me get the terms here, due to its controversial backstory, background, whatever, one of the most memorable stories of Spider-Man for the past 20 years, possibly throughout its entire web-slinging career, because there is another very good story, but that goes way back in the days when Stan Lee used to write the comic for Spidey and Steve Ditko used to draw the panels. Possibly if I get that one, I'll be making a comment of one of the most interesting Spider-Man stories back from the heyday. Here we see this is Ben saving Spidey. This is reminiscent of the place where Spidey dropped the clone's body, the ink coming out of there and all that. Here we have Kane. Here we have the Scarlet Spider. Well, basically this is like, oh, there's the Jackal there and his Spidey army of clones. Well, this is basically a paperback, a hardcover paperback of the way of how the Clone Saga should have been, the way it should have ended. By the end of this book, I would like to say, Mary Jane, she does have a baby. Here's where Aunt May, she, in the original comic continuity, I remember Amazing Spider-Man 400, Aunt May, she died. One of the most powerful, touching, and compelling stories of Spider-Man back then. And I remember when they brought her back, implying that the Aunt May that died was some sort of a clone. Man, that turned out to be a pretty big matter back then amongst comic readers, especially Marvel and Spider-Man's followers all over the world, not only in the US. But anyway, during this time, when Peter Parker gave up his life here, he gives up his life, gives the costume to Ben Reilly. I would like to let you know that back in the days, when they replaced Peter Parker as Spider-Man, that is Ben Reilly took on the Spidey suit, so to speak, or moniker. It was because Peter Parker lost his powers back then. Why, how, I don't remember. I'm going to have to wait for them to re-release the material in the Clone Saga epic book series. But I remember back then that Mary Jane was pregnant. She gave birth. The baby was taken away by Norman Osborn. Nobody knows what happened. That is the girl that supposedly grew up to be Spider-Girl. But anyway, that's too much of a convoluted story. In this series, Mary Jane does give birth in the end. That is the, let's see if I can make a close-up there. That is the suit, the spider suit that worn by that Ben Reilly used to wear back in the day when he assumed the identity of Spider-Man. Here Kane almost kills Dr. Octopus. In the main continuity, he did kill Dr. Octopus. Then they brought him back. As I said before, nobody stays dead, man. Anyway, there's the clone of Norman. They just wanted to surmise everything up. I considered this to be a pretty good job, a pretty good wrapping or a wrap-up of the Clone Saga storyline. Here's Mary Jane giving birth. She gave birth. They stole her baby, but then she gets it back. They never killed Ben here, though this is Harry Osborn. Pretty crazy picture there. They never killed Riley there, so that was pretty cool. Let's see what am I looking for here. This is Norman actually. Norman Osborn is helping the Spider-Man to helping the Spider-Man stop Harry Osborn, just to end up the vicious cycle, the vicious war between the Parkers and the Osborns. Anyway, here we see this is the baby. Kane was returning the baby to Mary Jane, and Aunt May recognizes something familiar on Kane here, or in Kane here. And Kane regrets that she can never know who he is. And here we see this is the final page. Let's see if I can. There is Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider. Pretty cool. They didn't kill him. So in the end, it's a very short story. This story that you see over here, that is just 6 books. It spanned years in the original comic continuity. It all happened when Aunt May had some sort of a stroke or a heart attack. Ben Reilly came back from the exile. They quarreled, they fought together. In the end, they managed to, live through the day. Ben didn't die. The child returned to the Parkers, and that was it. It was a proper ending. That's the way it started back in the original comic continuity. Aunt May had this stroke or heart attack. I don't remember right now. It's in there. I'm gonna have to read it back in the Clone Saga collection. And Ben Reilly came back to New York, but things got out of hand. And well, you know the story because I already mentioned that in my previous video. Nevertheless, this is a good book for Spidey fans and for those who wanted to satisfy their quench for justice with the aftermath of the Clone Saga. This is the way it should have ended according to the creators. In my opinion, I always said this is the way it should have ended, that is by not killing Ben Reilly and the baby going back to the Parker family. Anyway, I suggest you try this out. You can find it anywhere in your retail comic store, or as I said before, through Amazon. You can get it. There are so many great Spider-Man trade paperbacks around that you can find. And also the Marvel Masterwork series, which has old Spider-Man stories, which is very good for collectors and for all those of you, including myself, because I wasn't alive back then, who would like to go back and read those classic stories that define Spidey as one of the greatest superheroes ever created. Let's see, what else? Well, I think there is nothing else to say. I think I covered pretty much it. This is not a review, this is just a commentary. There it is, the impact webbing. The Scarlet Spider. This is Ben Reilly wearing the Spider-Man moniker. It's a little bit mod there. You can see Spider's has longer legs. It's a little bit different, but almost the same costume. And the web shooters I think were there. You see them around the wrist, not inside of the suit. But anyway, it's pretty cool, and I think I'll be making a little bit more commentaries about the comics that I have. I used to have a comprehensive comic collection, and some of you might think that I was not back then. Maybe I was completely crazy. I just throw it away, man. But well, I'm not perfect, you know. Nevertheless, I think that'll be it, and see you around.